Hi, I'm Kristen Oaks-White.
And I'm Avery Davidson. Thank you for joining us for This Week in Louisiana Agriculture, the only TV show bringing Louisiana farmers and consumers together every week.
On Friday, July 6th, the U.S. enacted the first round of tariffs on Chinese goods. The action has caused China to look at the tariffs on U.S. goods and even canceling orders from the U.S.
The trade issue is affecting Louisiana farmers, businesses, with soybeans in the crosshairs. As TWILA's Neil Melancon shows us, what started out as fears of lower prices has turned into reality.
The soybeans here on Ray Scheck-Snyder's farm in Irwinville in late July are doing well. This is what the field looked like back in March, not long after planting. Almost daily rains have promoted growth into the lush green you see right now.
The bean crop right now looks like one of the best we've had in a long time. It's all early beans, late beans, they all really look good.
This great progress in the crop contrasts with events outside the field. The price for beans has dropped about $2 since planting time. Louisiana grows almost 1.5 million acres of beans, and even given a modest crop of 40 bushels per acre, that $2 loss a bushel means more than $112 million off the value of Louisiana's crop alone.
Right now it looks like, you know, it could be $100,000 to $150,000 off from what we had planned on.
They're putting on pods now, and these pods have to fill out.
In Melville, Carlos Polizzola is pleased by what he's seeing in his fields as well and expects to begin harvest around September 1st, if not earlier. What he's less happy about is the prospect of a tariff placed on his beans by China in retaliation for the Trump administration's tariffs on Chinese goods. While he is supportive of the policy to balance the trade deficit with China, Polizzola says he doesn't know if farmers can take 2 months of prices going down further.
If the tariffs remain in place and the Midwest actually, as a country, we harvest another big crop this year, then I think at the end of the year things could get severely ugly with an abundant supply. And China, as you know, they buy 60% of our soybeans. If they're not a major player in the market and buying our crop, it could get really ugly.
The tariff issue is just one factor hanging over growers. They entered this year with a big supply of beans, and the bumper crop expected in Louisiana is also expected for the rest of the country. LSU Ag Center economist Michael Deliberto says what it all means is a $14 billion hit to the U.S. ag economy after a 50% drop in profits since 2012.
I'll say with trade tensions now that are real, 25% tariff on the soybeans that are going into China, as that demand shrinks or erodes and that demand can't be met by other countries stepping up to the plate and buying a portion of those soybeans, the carry-out or the ending stocks is going to get larger and larger.
In the meantime, soybean producers are hoping this trade rhetoric will blow over like the summer storms you see at this time of year. Polizzola says perhaps some relief could be built into the Farm Bill, and at the very least, he hopes everyone will remember just how important ag is to all of us.
We're just one bad crop away from being in a really bind, so I hope our legislatures can remember the times years and years ago where this country was hungry and help sustain the farms. Other countries put a lot more money into agriculture than what this country does. And so I hope the legislatures will do the right thing when it comes to the Farm Bill.
Right now, China is mulling over how to respond to these tariffs. They only import about $130 billion worth of U.S. products. That's compared to the U.S., which imports more than $500 billion in Chinese goods each year. Of that $130 billion in exports we send to China, $20 billion of it is in agriculture. And guys, it's not just agriculture that's affecting us. Looking at the economic map across the South, we stand to lose more than twice what every other southern state is going to lose, including Texas, which is a much bigger economic powerhouse. And you have to think, it's not just these ag products, it's things like the tariffs on steel and aluminum, which affect our boat manufacturers, as well as being that we have the mouth of the Mississippi, so many businesses in the state are built entirely upon exporting. And of course, back to agriculture, I know it hits close to home for you, Kristen, with soybeans. Of course, 60% of our beans goes to China, and I know that many of these farmers just aren't looking forward to these tariffs at all.
Well, I need to bring something up from the first story you did on the tariffs when they were still proposed. Back then, soybeans were going for $10.50 a bushel.
Right.
Now they're going for $8.50 a bushel. I mean, that's got to hit you in the pocketbook.
Well, I don't think that people realize how big of a jump that is in income. Mm-hmm. And the thing, you know, it doesn't really matter. The whole crux of this story is this is bad for agriculture across the board. And what's bad for agriculture turns to the consumers in the grocery store. And so, you know, farmers are not going to be making as much money, but you're going to be paying more at the grocery store. And I think people don't realize that.
And it doesn't matter where you sit on the political spectrum when it comes to that.
And when it's not just that you're paying more at the grocery store, it's if this has more widespread economic impact, then you're going to have less money to spend on all of those goods, so everything will become more expensive. And it's just something that I don't think our farmers especially can withstand. It's not just this one issue, it's the fact that over the past few years they've had you know, such big profit losses. Profits are down, I think, from 2013 50% for agriculture across the U.S.
Yeah, and we've seen some other stories about what that's done to farmers, and you can go on social media and see some of that. But thank you very much for your reporting, Neil Melancon.